Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tuesday's Random Vlogging. And today, I've got absolutely no idea what I'm going to say. I have been thinking literally all day about what it was that I wanted to talk about today and the different things that I could mention. I have, probably about half a dozen different ideas for vlogs going later on. Not only my random vlogging, but also some stuff that I'm going to be doing on Friday Featured Focus. But today, I literally am drawing a blank. I've just spent the last, half an hour, 45 minutes watching the creation debate between Bill Nye and I can't even remember the other gentleman's name. His last name's Ham. And that was very fascinating to me. I am not a super scientific expert. I understand a very small amount about a very large amount of topics. So most of the things that I heard them speaking about, and again, I didn't see the whole thing, I was already familiar with most of those theories. Am I an expert on them? Absolutely not. But one thing I am very, very good at is logic and debate. It's something that I've actually done some study into. It's something I've just naturally always been good at. I have a very logical, analytical type mind, and people don't like to argue with me because they tend to get very frustrated when 9 times out of 10 I've already predicted their answers to my questions before they even mention them. And then I can phrase my questions and my rebuttals in a way that kind of shoots down their answers before they can actually say them. And it annoys the hell out of people. So watching from a logical debate perspective, I noticed something I find interesting. If you look at the types of arguments that both sides used, Mr. Ham tended to favor what I would coin intellectual arguments. Arguments based on facts and figures. He would do a lot of, well, the Bible says this, or my colleague says this. You know, a lot of quoting and, referencing various different things. Very, very common, very, very useful form of debate. Mostly because once you put a fact out there, if it's a true fact, there's not a whole lot your opponent can do with it. You know, it's a fact that supports your specific idea. They have to come up with something that either disproves that fact or shines a different light, so it doesn't matter that that fact exists. This other fact refutes the whole idea, so it doesn't matter anymore. Very, very effective. Now, when you look at what Bill Nye has been doing, he does use intellectual arguments, but almost every, if not every response, again, I didn't watch the whole thing, so I'm not 100% sure about this. Almost every response I saw of his included what I would call an emotional argument. An emotional argument is an argument that doesn't technically have a fact in it. It's designed to provoke an emotional response. Everything from belittling your opponent to talking about how, well, if you send this man to jail, his children will not have a provider. They'll be thrown out on the street. And none of that matters actually in a murder trial. But emotional arguments can be used to sway a jury because it will make them a little bit more open to trying to see some doubt. And in the American justice system, reasonable doubt is enough to prevent someone from being convicted of something. If you can't prove 100% that they did it without any reasonable doubt, they're not convicted. They're figured innocent, whether or not they did it at all. So the fact that Bill Nye keeps using these emotional arguments, I find absolutely fascinating. Because, first of all, Bill Nye is, technically he's an engineer, but that's a type of science. We can call him a scientist. And there is a huge, huge amount of science that people have used for years and years and years to prove evolution and the age of the earth and stuff like that. And he doesn't touch on probably 90% of it because his rebuttals all involve either personal attacks against Mr. Ham by saying things like, well, obviously, You want us to take your word for it, which is an emotional attack. That's an emotional argument. Whatever you want to say about it, he's singling someone out specifically and saying and is implying that they are not a correct. They're not an authority on a specific subject and we can't trust them. That's an emotional argument and it's a personal attack. And the fact that he keeps using these personal attacks, I find absolutely fascinating. Because in my mind, there's only two reasons that I can come up with that would explain why he does it. One, he doesn't actually believe what he is that he's arguing. One of the unique things about lying is if somebody tells a lie, you'll notice that they justify it a lot. You can ask someone a very simple question, they'll give you a very, very long answer when they lie because they don't believe it, and so they feel the need to explain it because they just assume other people aren't going to believe it. People that actually have the truth will have very short, succinct answers because it's the truth. It doesn't need any explanation. And so by relying on these arguments, and the same can be true if you don't have facts to win an argument, you still want to win the argument, you have to use something else, and that's when you go into emotional arguments. So the fact that he keeps using these either means A, he doesn't believe what he's saying, or B, he's not taking this seriously. He came into the conversation thinking that he was, debating a monkey, and therefore doesn't need to put his full effort into it, which in my personal opinion, if that is the true, if that is the reason behind it, really makes me lose a little bit of respect for Bill Nye. I love Bill Nye the Science Guy. I think he's an unbelievably intelligent person, and I think he's done a ton for children around, at least in the U.S. I don't know if his program was broadcast around the world or anything like that, to get us interested in science. And a lot of the people that watched Bill Nye the Science Guy when they were kids turned into the people that are leading the scientific community now and are coming up with cures for new diseases and brand new technology that is just absolutely bonkers, and is making us realize that Star Trek may not be as far off as we think. And if he comes into a debate, a nationally televised debate, and doesn't care enough about it to actually put forth an effort to use the facts that literally thousands of people have come up with in order to effectively debate it, and he just relies on emotional arguments and attacks of character, it's disappointing to me. It really is, because I have a lot of respect for the guy, and I know that he believes very strongly, and in my opinion, it's really sad. So that's all for me today. What I'd like you guys to do in the comments below, if you could come up with another reason why Bill Nye would be using a large amount of emotional arguments versus more scientific, fact-based debate. Let me know if you can come up with with another reason that I didn't mention. Also, let me know what you guys thought about the debate. Again, I've only watched a little bit of it. I started getting upset when I started hearing emotional arguments when I was tuning into it to listen to science. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. It makes me feel really, really special, and it lets me know that you guys like what I'm doing, all right? That is all for me today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.